Hello, we've taken a couple week break from the pumping, but we got to mention, 20x, 50x, 100x coins that aren't completely obscure, maybe hiding right under your nose. We talk about these all the time, but I don't think people really realize what opportunity they actually present unless they're really into it. Because they are very well known. I'm almost sure they'll grow during the bull run, and they have lots of potential. We're talking about DEX coins and some of the AI coins. We're going to take a bigger look at them right now. I mean, starting with MinSwap, this is the one I'm in, obviously. And the thing about DEX is the liquidity goes way, way down during a bear market, and then goes way, way up during a bull run, and that's where they have their explosiveness. Let's not forget that Uniswap actually reached a market cap of over $20 billion in the last bull run. And I think it'll go over $50 billion this bull run at the peak. So it's not crazy to think that some of these coins can reach a tenth of that, which would only be a $5 billion market cap. And I think $1 billion and $2 billion is definitely in the cards. I think some people are just forgetting how explosive these coins can actually be. Let's start with MinSwap. It's only $378,000 in terms of volume, not on the DEX itself per day, but the coin. So there's not much liquidity for the coin itself. And yes, it's on, I think, MEXC, and you can mainly get it on MinSwap itself. But the market cap's only $21 million. Now, the total supply is actually wrong for MinSwap. It should be 3 million, not 5 million. But the circulating supply is only a small part of the total supply at 700,000. So there could be some dilution, and there will be. I think I've heard someone say the max amount that could occur in the bull run, depending on when it happens, could be about 1.5 billion min coins, could be a lot less as well, depending on when the bull run actually comes. And the bull run could be any time between this year and next year, and that amount of time could actually affect the dilution a lot. But even if it got to 1.5 billion, it's 3 cents right now, and you put a price of $1.5 on the MinSwap token, that's 50x. And a 1.5 times 1.5 is 2.25, so that'd be a market cap of $2.25 billion, which, if you think that Uniswap's getting to $50 billion, that's only 1/20th or 1/50th of Uniswap. So I think that's actually achievable. So MinSwap is a possible 50x coin at that point, and I do think it can actually achieve those heights. And the thing is, even though there's not much liquidity for the coin right now, I think this will boost up into the millions, tens of millions, possibly even hundreds of millions when Cardano really has its run, when everything else is running as well. So I'm not really all that afraid of not having liquidity here. I don't see any other DEX on Cardano challenging MinSwap. The closest one I think is MusliSwap, but I don't think it's going to get on MinSwap. MinSwap by far has the most pairs. It's fairly well known. And the thing is, Cardano, believe will get USDC soon, and that should really, really boost up MinSwap. It's just that alone. And when the bull run comes, the liquidity should be very, very big for MinSwap. A lot bigger than it is actually right now. Cardano does have several protocols that are actually functioning on Cardano, and a lot of people do actually use the swap in the AMM pools to actually make money. So MinSwap, definitely one of my top holdings. Along with the Cardano pair, and I do think it'll actually work out very, very well for me. Second one is the Hedera one, SaucerSwap. This one's a little bigger at $50 billion market cap. I think it's a little bit more distributed though at 585 million sauce. The max supply is 1 billion sauce at this point. So, I'm not exactly sure what the distribution schedule is, but if we assume maybe 700 million supply, a $1 thing would only be $700 million. And I don't actually think that's that high for Hedera. Hedera is not Hedera is not as big as Cardano right now in terms of market cap. And the liquidity for Hedera's DEX isn't quite as high. I'm not really sure about the USDC stablecoin situation on Hedera. The one reservation I have about HBAR is they're not actually focusing on this stuff. They're focusing more on their industrial utility, and I'm not really sure how much that's going to help it. But Hedera chain is technically very efficient for this stuff. It's very fast. It has smart contracts, a whole 9 yards. And I think if they just used a little bit of advertisement and incentive on their DeFi developer network, they can do great things for this specific coin. But a SaucerSwap, I do believe, is going to be the main swap that people actually trade off of for Hedera. And like I said, 700,000 in volume right now. This could easily go up to tens of millions very, very quickly. And the thing is, Hedera is centralized in its decision making. But I don't think that really bothers investors, and I don't think that'll bother them in this bull run. They just need to get more people to participate in the pools. But Hedera's direction does not seem to be focused on DeFi. So maybe SaucerSwap is not quite as good as MinSwap, but I still think it's a pretty good buy. I think it could go to 20x from here, maybe 30x from here. Maybe even higher. It depends on how high the Hedera ecosystem grows, and maybe their like industrial activity will actually help that. But we haven't really seen that from other projects. But Hedera is still a buy for me if you're looking for a DEX product. Next one, Raydium. I wanted to do one on Jito, but Jupiter, but they haven't really dropped yet, and I think they're dropping on like the 31st or something. So I can't really talk about them right now. They might very well. Jito's not really a DEX, so I think Raydium might still be the top dog here. It has a higher market cap of 2.86, but that's $286 million, but that's actually okay. Why? It's because Solana has a lot more liquidity right now than all the other chains. Being a much higher market cap and having USDC on its chain. So I wouldn't be surprised if the top Solana DEX went to like $5 billion in market cap, maybe even 10 billion if we're really lucky. And this is like considering that I'm considering Ethereum's Uniswap, the top dog on Ethereum, to actually be, like $50 billion, possibly more, because this stuff is really going to spur up during a bull market. Volume of 14 million right now. This will be hundreds of millions, I think, during a bull run for Raydium. And the thing is, I think this will be the biggest pure DEX on Solana still. So I still think this a 20x for this is definitely possible. I don't really know too much about the dilution, how much it's going to dilute. If it dilutes too much, it might not be able to get 20x. But I think Raydium is still a solid investment right now. Uniswap, I think this could go maybe 15x from where it is right now. Not really sure if it's going to go any more than that. It's just really big as it is. Now let's actually go to ChainGPT. This is basically a lot like ChatGPT. Someone mentioned this to me. I'm like, hey, this actually might be a good buy why? Because it has GPT in the name. That might sound dumb, but the AI narrative is going to be very, very strong in this bull run. Did you know that Microsoft market cap just passed $3 trillion on AI investments? If they're willing to invest $3 trillion in Microsoft AI investments, they're going to be able to pour a bit into blockchain. Now, I'm not saying ChainGPT is going to get that investment, but I think it's got a good shot as any, because they do have a chatbot, they do have a Telegram chatbot, and they have a lot of other traded related functions, and I think people are going to be interested in that. Now, this all depends on hype and how many mentions it gets. If you see this stuff starting to be mentioned on Twitter a lot, starting to be mentioned on social media a lot, you want to buy this stuff. Because once something like this catches fire, it'll have that whole AI narrative. People are going to think it's amazing. Because it sounds like ChatGPT, it functions like ChatGPT, and people are going to be like, oh, it's the next coming, so they're going to dump money into this. So this really depends on the virality. There's other GPT programs, they might just be as good, but this is at $50 million. I wouldn't be surprised if this went up to $2.5 billion on a 50x during the bull run, because $2.5 billion will probably not even make it to you take you to the top 50 in the bull market, and that's not really that high of a space. There's going to be a couple of AI coins in the top 50, mark my words, and ChainGPT might actually be one of them. It could be any other one of these GPT projects, but just kind of pick your horse, take your bet, and see how it'll actually work. Very risky, probability of success maybe 30%, but the rewards and payout could be very, very nice indeed. The other one I needed to mention was QuickSwap, and I do believe this one is the one on Polygon. I really like this one. This one I think possibly could be 50, 100x, because Polygon is the oldest and maybe still the most well-known layer 2 out there. It's 60% diluted, which is a little bit more, more of it is actually out, not as much to dump as some of the other coins out there. So that's good. But, it's also the oldest, maybe most well-known L2, despite Arbitrum having a higher market cap right now. And why does that matter? Because, people are going to be looking for layer 2 solutions. They're going to be looking for more efficient versions of Ethereum, and they're going to go to layer 2. QuickSwap is one of the biggest L2-based exchanges. Its TVL is really not that high right now. Uniswap is going on to L2, but QuickSwap, I think a lot of people have been talking about this. A lot of people already know about this. And when DeFi blows up, they're going to want to use QuickSwap. That volume is probably going to transfer to tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions. And I think just based on that, this coin will actually grow. I think like, 2 billion, basically like 27 million. I think like 1 billion is pretty much a 40x almost. Like 2.7 billion would be 100x. And I wouldn't really be that surprised if it actually reached that. Like I said, the dilution I don't think is quite as strong for a quick swap. It's been out for a little bit longer. And you make sure you buy the new quick swap because there's an old quick swap and it's been redenominated. Outside of those, I mean, there's things like VVS Finance. This one's already a decently high market cap for these kind of coins. This one I believe is the one on Kronos. So I think like the potential for something like this is a little bit lower for VVS Finance, but it's still there. 100 million is not a huge market cap. And this could go like 15, 20x, I think, in a bull run, depending if it actually catches on or not. I tend to sour on coins that have too many zeros before a number, but that's just because it has a huge supply. So, something like this, if Kronos grows big, this could actually get really big as well. So you should take a look at it. I would probably trust the other coins more, but this could be an option if you actually are looking for another DEX to invest in. Also, there's things like Elrond, like Exchange, but the liquidity is very low for stuff like that. But we know that Elrond's done it before because they've done it with Maiar before. And it got super popular. So, Elrond does have a track record of making these things very popular with Maiar. But right now, all their exchanges are really low. But there are people saying like Elrond's going to come back, Multiverse X is going to come back. And that might actually be true. So I'd take a look at that as well. I really want to talk about Jito this time, but I really can't do much with it right now. But my strategy would actually be to diversify into like maybe the first 5 I mentioned, put 20% in each, create a portfolio for like DEXs, and maybe throw like one of those GPT coins in there. And I think you'll actually do fairly well on this bull run. If like all of them don't go up, at least several of them will go up, and you'll make like a really nice return. Because I think like the DEX game is going to be more diversified this time. It's not going to be solely concentrated in Uniswap, even though Uniswap will actually do really well. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.